You're listening to a community story from Be My Eyes.
Greetings, my name is Tekesha and I am a user, or I use the app Be My Eyes. I am from South Florida, so I'm not too far from the beaches, and I am blind. I have been blind for a little over 13 years from retina detachment. Throughout that journey, I've been rehabilitated to be now this independent individual that I am. I'm currently a grad student at Florida Atlantic University, majoring in public administration. Also, I work in the accessibility department for Palm Beach State College. So I have had the opportunity to use this app in many different ways. I also serve in the community as an advocate and as a leader, which I serve as a board of director for my local Lighthouse for the Blind at the Palm Beaches. Also, I've done many community service projects, just as being a role model and a mentor, not just for individuals who are blind, but for all disabilities. The app has aided me to be even more independent. I use the app to aid me in just my daily living activities, such as cooking and cleaning and some fun things like sorting out outfits, packing, especially since I love to travel, which is my favorite hobby. So I've been able to utilize the app to help me organize through my things and to sort through items where I'm able to pack my own clothing without asking a friend or a relative or even a neighbor. So this app has just been so beneficial and so essential to me over the last few years. And when I first installed the app, I was wondering to myself, what took me so long? I mean, I was literally wondering, like, who was I before this app? Because this app has just really improved my quality of life in so many ways, for me to do so many things independently. I strongly emphasize the independence part and I would say the convenience of being able to utilize an app where you can get a live person to be your eyes, and how nice and friendly the volunteers are. And they pay attention to details and they're able to describe things for you. I also use Be My Eyes to sort through my mail, just to get an idea of where my mail is coming from. And so I just feel very comfortable with utilizing the app in so many different ways. I mean, I can really go on, but I would just give one example that I thought was pretty cool and I would never forget, is that for my birthday, which was about 2 years ago, I bought this dress and then I had these shoes, and I was just wondering rather if the shoes would go with the dress. It just so happened that it did, and I felt so relieved that I didn't have to look for shoes. But the volunteers who helped me, I felt like their personalities were similar to mine, and I believe that they were so impressed by my ability to, be into how I want to look as far as my appearance. And so I felt like they were very excited with helping me with putting together my outfits. And that has happened on more than one occasion where I've had someone to look and then it like matches so perfectly. And to them, they're like, wow, that was really right on. So it's just been fun, and, people from everywhere that has volunteered to use this app to help many people, other than myself, to be independent, to be free, and to feel great about themselves because they know that they can rely on this app to aid them through many different things, throughout just being blind. When I do mention to people who are new to blindness, and they're wondering, about some of the things that I do or some of the things that they can do that they question about, or some of their concerns they may have on just, not knowing how are they going to be able to do this and how they're going to be able to do that. And so I have introduced Be My Eyes to many people and just said, this app is wonderful. This app will certainly help you to be able to, have someone to look at something for you. And so I think that every blind person should have this app as a tool and as a resource to just help them. And when I do presentations, because I speak sometimes in the community on the behalf of individuals with disabilities, and also I provide ADA and sensitivity training. So just to especially in local government, I will try to make mention about the app. And I have mentioned this app on many, even radio interviews as I'm thinking about this, because it's so funny, like people like, they really think like it's like, even though it's a live volunteer, but it seems so real, like it's a human person, like you're carrying around with you, like you have a person there all the time. And that's how one specific person who I mentioned about the volunteer sort of thinks of it in that way, that it really helps people, like as if you have a personal human being with you. So, and most people are very excited to know that there is something like that. And even not just someone who's blind, but even someone who may be elderly, Independence is very key to me in many different ways. I think it makes you feel good. It ultimately starts with you. When you personally feel that you're able to independently do something for yourself, it boosts your esteem and your confidence. It makes you feel good, because in most situations, most people would assume that someone who not just blind, but just disabled in general are unable to care for themselves and are able to live independently. And to be able to demonstrate the opposite of that is a good feeling, at least for myself, is very important, because I don't want anyone to assume that because I'm disabled that I'm unable to care for myself and that I need to have someone to live with me. So to be able to be independent and to do things for myself and to promote it and for people to see it, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel stronger, and it makes me to be able to be able to give that to someone else. People ask me questions all the time, like, how did you do this? How did you do that? And so one of the ways that I've mentioned is Be My Eyes. That is one of my ways that I'm able to do things independently. I turn to Be My Eyes before I even think of any other way, to be honest. So because of that, I use the app quite frequently to help me with many things that I'm able to do without having someone else to help me. And it just makes me feel so good to have that, because it makes me feel that I don't have to, just because I can't see, I don't have to really see to be able to get some of the things done. Of course, it's easier, but to have this app, certainly alleviates the thought of not being able to see.
Thank you for listening to this community story from Be My Eyes. You can share your story too. Send it to mystory@bemyeyes.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, download our app, or visit bemyeyes.com/community-stories for more.